Bonjour, bonjour, and welcome back to another video in the series of Tout, monde, parle. And today we're finishing off looking at the passé composé, the past simple tense in French. And today, instead of looking at the form, so how we form the passé composé, which we've done in the last two videos, today we're going to look at its functions. So what are the uses of the passé composé and when do we use it in French exactly? So if you are one of my students, mes étudiants, you're going to open up your exercise books and you're going to take notes on these slides for future use in class. Allez, on commence. So let's have a little bit of a review of how we formed the passé composé. So let's first have a look at those words, those verbs, those actions that went with the auxiliary être. So let me just pull up my pointer. We're going to be using auxiliary être if we're talking about going somewhere. So that was that long list that either you could learn them off by heart by using the Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp acronym, or you could also try and use a bit more of a visual representation, and that's with the house verbs. And we also looked at the form that went with avoir, which was our most stereotypical one. For example, when we manger something, when we eat something, that is going to be with avoir. So the example for the last 2 weeks has obviously been going to the patisserie on a Saturday. So samedi, je suis allée. I went with the être auxiliary à la pâtisserie et j'ai mangé un croissant. So I went to the patisserie and I ate a croissant. So you can already maybe see some of the functions. So what we've been talking about the last few weeks is that there's an action that's completed in the past. It's something that we've done in the past. And in this case, it was I went and then I ate. So we're also seeing some consecutive events happening here. So of course, when we're talking about the form, don't forget that you have to decide if the past participle goes with the auxiliary être, and that was going to the patisserie. Je suis allée à la pâtisserie. And those other verbs, so the rest of them that aren't in your Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp or house verbs are going with your avoir auxiliary. J'ai mangé un croissant. Let's have a look now at the functions. So when do we use the passé composé in French? What you're going to discover is that in French there are 3 past tenses, but this is the most common. Now, when we're talking in the past, we really need to express these actions that we've done, that are completed, and you'll see a lot of that today. Just how normal it is. This is the passé composé is the most important one, and that's why we begin with that. So the first thing, and then we've looked at this already, is that when we use the passé composé, it's because that action is completed, it's finished, it's a done activity, and then we've moved on to the next thing. So it's a completed action. For example, je suis allée à la pâtisserie ce matin, this morning. So you see how there's like a fixed time in that? It was this morning I went to the patisserie. So I went this morning, it's finished. I'm not still going to the patisserie. Or for example, another one is when an action is repeated. So if we're going to do that same action several times, then we can use the passé composé. Je suis allée à la pâtisserie 3 fois. Say I forgot something every time and I had to go back, so I went 3 times. 3 fois. Je suis allée à la pâtisserie 3 fois. Another function of the passé composé, when we use it, is when we have a series of actions. So we've already seen that in our first example. Je suis allée à la pâtisserie et j'ai mangé un croissant. So I went and then I ate. Let's have a look at another example though. J'ai mangé un croissant. So in that series of events, I've eaten my croissant, and then, I bought a baguette. J'ai acheté une baguette. So I ate my croissant, and then after I'd finished eating my croissant, I bought a baguette after. So we're doing a series of events, a series of actions. Now, let's have a look at why it's really important to understand the function. I think there's always a tendency when we're learning a second language to want to translate from our native tongue, but you can't do that, and this is why. In English, there are more ways to express the past. We just have more tenses in English. So even though you might think to yourself, here we are, it's so plain and simple, if I remember that these three tenses in English become the passé composé, it's not quite so simple. But I just want to show you that English has more tenses, so we just look at things a little bit differently if we're an English speaker to begin with. So in English, for example, in that same kind of category of actions and events that are completed, you've got the simple past, the present perfect, and the past emphatic. And they look something like this: I ate, I have eaten, and I did eat. Now, in French, we've only got one way to describe these events, and that's using the passé composé. J'ai mangé. So j'ai mangé is equivalent in English to I ate, I have eaten, I did eat. But be careful. Do not translate when you're thinking about the past. You've got to think to yourself, what's the function? What am I doing in this past event? Is it an event that is finished, is completed? Is it an event that I had to do several times? Or is it an event or action that was following each other, that were consecutive actions in the past? That's how you have to think, not I'm using this I ate in English. You'll see this as you go on and on to learn more about the past tenses, that you do not want to get into the habit of translation. What you want to get in the habit of is understanding how that action looks in the past. So if you remember the functions that we just discussed, then you will know to use the passé composé. And as I said, so in French, we're going to have three different alternatives for speaking in the past. Now in English, we've got 5. So this is another reason why we don't want to translate. They just get too muddled. So let's now put all those functions together. So you've got 3 functions really to pay attention to at this time for, using le passé composé to start to build up sentences, really describe some of your actions in the past, or to tell a story. When we tell a story, we use past actions a lot, so it's really useful. Let's have a look at some passé composé in action then. As I did in the first video, I used à la fête, at a party, as an example. So when we're retelling what happened at a party, we're going to use the passé composé a lot. I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. So let's have a look. Je suis allée à la fête d'un ami samedi soir. I went to the party of a friend on Saturday night. I went to my friend's party on Saturday night. The function of that sentence, so if I was trying to retell, I was like, is that the passé composé? Yeah, it's because it's an action that's completed. It's done in the past. I went to the party. It's finished. Let's have a look at another example. La nourriture était superbe. J'ai visité le buffet 3 fois. This is, I'm a big eater, so this would be a common thing for me to say. J'ai visité le buffet 3 fois. I went to that buffet, the food buffet, 3 times. As you'll see in the first example, this is our other past tense that we're going to learn, the imperfect. The food was superb. Just so you're aware that there is another past tense, and we're going to be using that word was comes a lot because it's very descriptive. It's a descriptive way to use the past. The food was superb. We're describing the food here. It was superb. But I visited the buffet 3 times. I went once, I ate, I left, I went again, I ate, I left, I went again, I ate, I left. So there are 3 separate actions in the past that are completed and done. Let's look at Count Dracula's there again because it is a repeated action. Let's look at the third function now. J'ai mangé un gâteau délicieux. Puis, j'ai beaucoup dansé. So I'm just still once again, it's very tied into this first concept. They're all tied into that first concept of an action being completed and finished. You know, we did one thing, which was, or I did one thing, which was eating a beautiful cake, a delicious cake. I ate the cake, and then, so it wasn't until I finished eating the cake that then I went and danced a lot. J'ai mangé, puis then j'ai beaucoup dansé, then I danced a lot. So after the cake, after the speeches, that's when I danced a lot. Okay, so consecutive actions, series of events that are happening here at this party. I'm going to give you a go. I'm going to put up an example and you're going to try and connect to the functions. You know, what is happening here? So, still talking about the party. Let's have a look at this first example. You connect it to either a finished event in the past, is it a repeated action, or is it a series of actions? The first one, where are you going to connect this? J'ai parlé avec mes amis. I spoke with my friends. I talked with my friends. Where are you going to connect that? J'ai parlé avec mes amis. Do your connection? It's going to go with a completed action in the past. It's just one action. It is finished. I spoke with my friends. J'ai parlé à la fête avec mes amis. Second example now. Ils ont beaucoup aimé la soirée. So maybe I'm telling mum, oh, they really liked the night. Everyone did. They really liked the night. Ils ont beaucoup, really a lot, liked la soirée. They really liked the night. Where is that going to go? Once again, it's going to go just with the completed action. So the fact that the party is over, you know, they liked at that time, at that moment, they were really, I noticed they were really enjoying the party. Everyone was. Ils ont beaucoup aimé la soirée. What about this next one? Nous avons joué 3 fois. We played, nous avons joué 3 jeux. But this, I'm talking about different times. So, you know, we played 3 games at 3 separate occasions. Nous avons joué 3 jeux. I could have put extra information in there. Or nous avons joué un jeu 3 fois. Maybe it would be better. We played a game 3 times. Nous avons joué un jeu 3 fois. Where's we going to connect that one to? It's a repeated action. Okay, so we can still use the passé composé as long as it's a repeated action that has been completed in the past. That's what we did do. Lastly, je suis rentrée à la maison. I came home. Et après and after, here's another good word that looks like puis. Another word, après, after. J'ai bien dormi. I slept well. I went home and I slept, and afterwards I slept well. So it wasn't until I got home that I slept well. Je suis rentrée à la maison. Et après, j'ai bien dormi. Where are we going to connect those? So as I said, that ties into the idea of a completed action because I've got 2 separate actions that are completed. But of course, we're going to talk about that second one as being after another passé composé event. So it's a series of actions. It's a series of events. Okay, let's have a look at this now as a review. As I said, now we're just kind of wrapping up the passé composé. We finished talking about how it's formed. Now you know how its function works. Now we know why we use the passé composé. But it's always going to be tied off against the imperfect tense, the imparfait. So next time we look at some grammar, we're going to be looking at the imperfect tense. And then it's going to tie together the idea of function and really help you understand why we don't want to translate from English to French, because it's going to make us stuff up quite often if we do that. You've really got to think about what is happening to that action in the past. And with the passé composé, ask yourself, is that action finished? Is that action done? and then you know whether you're going to use the passé composé or not. So we always start with the passé composé because that's the first question you want to ask yourself when you're speaking in French. For example, once I've completed this video, I can say j'ai fait le vidéo. I did the video. I did a video because I would have completed it once it's done. It would be a completed thing. Once you've finished your homework, you could say j'ai fait mes devoirs. I have done, I did do my homework. So we can just use that completed action, le passé composé, to say that we have done and completed something. J'ai fait mes devoirs. Once you can give a tick on Google Classroom to say that you've done your homework. J'ai fait mes devoirs. So let's have a look at a bit of a review. Here's a theme. Samedi chez moi. I'm going to try and tie the concept back into the être auxiliary actions, you know, the idea of being at home. So here I am, Saturday at home, samedi chez moi. I'm going to give you a story about what I have done on my Saturday. And have a look at all the different passé composé I can use. I'm going to get you to identify all the passé composé. So here are the verbs I've managed to use about just describing my morning, my Saturday morning, samedi matin, chez moi, at home. This is what I was doing. I was parler, speaking, acheter, buying, faire, doing or making, voir, seeing, aller, going, descendre, going down, and rentrer, coming back. Okay, so I've tried to identify the different types of actions I had in my morning activities. Now I put it into a sentence, into a paragraph, sorry. Let's have a look at this paragraph. What I would like you to do, as I'm reading this out loud about what I've done on my Saturday morning, I want you to identify, write down in your exercise book, the 10 passé composé structures that you identify in this passage. And then we'll also discuss what was their function in terms of using the passé composé. So I haven't used the other past tense in this description at all of my morning. I've only used passé composé to make it easier for you. So let's have a read. Ce matin, je suis descendu les escaliers et je suis allé à la pâtisserie. À la pâtisserie, j'ai parlé avec la vendeuse et j'ai acheté 3 croissants. Puis, je suis rentrée à la maison. Après, je suis allée au gymnase et j'ai fait de l'exercice. Puis, je suis allée au supermarché où j'ai fait les courses. J'ai vu un ami pour le déjeuner. So, take some time now to identify the 10 passé composé constructions in here. And then I'm going to highlight each of them one by one, and we'll talk about them as we go. So at this time, you might like to pause the video if you need a little bit extra time, and I'll go through them now. So the first one is je suis descendu. Now, is that with an avoir or être auxiliary first? Let's talk about the form. Yes, it's with an être auxiliary, je suis, and I've added an e on the end because I am a female subject. So when I'm talking about myself, je, I have to add the e. I went down. Je suis descendu. Next one. Je suis allé à la pâtisserie. Is that with an avoir or être auxiliary? It is with an être auxiliary. Absolutely. And once again, being a female subject pronoun, I have to add an e onto the end. Now let's talk about these two actions. Je suis descendu les escaliers, and then je suis allé à la pâtisserie. So as we've been talking about the function, the primary function of the passé composé is that we're talking about a completed action in the past. But as you can see, with this whole paragraph, once one thing is done, and I've explained it in the passé composé, it means that the next event is just going to be a series, part of a series of events. So this is the thing about the passé composé. As soon as you see how it's laid out, It's very, very simple. They're all completed actions in the past, and they're all going to be part of a series of events once we start to tell a story about our morning, for example. You're also going to see that anything that's got a number attached to it that is once again completed in the past is going to be in the passé composé. So it's very basic. That's all you have to tell yourself. Is it a completed action in the past? And therefore they're going to, if it's a story, automatically fit into a series of events if you're just using the passé composé in one sentence. I went down the stairs and I went to the pâtisserie. So it's like trying to say, and then I went to the pâtisserie. Je suis descendu les escaliers et je suis allé à la pâtisserie. À la pâtisserie, j'ai parlé. J'ai parlé. Of course, j'ai parlé. Now, is that with être or avoir auxiliary? As we can see, it's different. It's not je suis anymore. It's j'ai. J'ai parlé. I spoke. J'ai parlé. It's with avoir, of course. I spoke avec la vendeuse, with the shopkeeper. Et j'ai acheté. I bought. Now, once again, this is going to be obvious. Is it with avoir or être auxiliary? It's j'ai, so it's avoir auxiliary. I bought 3 croissants. J'ai acheté 3 croissants. Then, puis, je suis rentrée à la maison. Then I went back home. Je suis rentrée. I went back. Avoir ou être auxiliary? Être auxiliary. Then, après, je suis allée. I went to the gym. Je suis allée au gymnase. Et j'ai fait de l'exercice. I think I purposely put this example in because I want to just show you that in the same sentence, even if it's a series of events, you can put actions that have être auxiliary and also actions that have avoir auxiliary. It doesn't matter. As long as you're describing your action using the passé composé, if they come with être auxiliary like to go, went is with être auxiliary, and to do exercise or to exercise is with avoir auxiliary. So you can have those series of events with different auxiliaries as long as you've got the correct action in there. Then, puis, je suis allée, there's another repeat for I went. Je suis allée, don't forget because of the être auxiliary, I have to put the E on it. Au supermarché, où j'ai fait, and once again, j'ai fait, I did the shopping, or I did my grocery shopping. J'ai fait les courses. And then finally, our very last passé composé, I saw, j'ai vu un ami pour le déjeuner. I saw a friend of mine for lunch. J'ai vu. Vu comes from the verb voir, V-O-I-R. I'm not sure if anyone noticed that as the irregular past participle in this passage. And there's another one. Can you spot the other irregular past participle in this passage? It was repeated twice, and that is fait, from faire. J'ai fait is fait being irregular, and vu from voir, irregular. And they were up in the table at the top, of course, just in case you need the spelling. They were irregular past participles, but they still went with avoir. There aren't many irregular past participles that go with être. So I hope that has helped you really bring the passé composé together. You're going to, of course, in class have a go at trying to write full sentences and paragraphs and explain past events all together. Here is what you really must have memorized by the end of this unit for the passé composé to make sure you really grasp the concepts and being able to use it. So you really want to get to the stage from understanding to analysing to using and creating language with the passé composé by the end of this unit. This is what you should have memorised and what you should know. So what you're going to need to do is practice and memorise these 3 functions of passé composé. But what you really need to know is that it is a completed and finished task, a completed action in the past. Completed task in the past, that sounds good. Of course, in summary, you're also going to need to have written notes on. So if you're my students ensure that you've got notes for these to refer back to. You need to know the conjugations, the present tense conjugations, for both avoir and être. And of course, I'll try and put some videos below to help you memorize those, especially if you're someone who likes songs and music to try to learn those. If you are someone who just needs to write them out, get writing. Really got to learn these off by heart. The next thing you have to learn off by heart is, of course, the regular rules and the irregular past participles. So they were in video 1. If you haven't yet got those noted down, go back to video 1, go to that slide and write down your regular rule for past participles, like manger, for example, ends with ER, so we know we have to get rid of ER and put E accent. But also our irregular past participles, so there's 2 boxes that you're going to need to learn off by heart. There are also, you have to know which verbs pair with the auxiliary être. You know, to go, for example, aller, je suis allé. So if you need to write a list of the Dr. Mr. Vandertramp verbs or the house verbs, go back to video 2, and write down a way that you're going to need to memorize those. And of course, in video 2, there's plenty of information also below the video to help you learn. And finally, what you're going to need to write down and learn and memorize is that any past participles that go with être as the auxiliary must agree for gender and number. So if you've got a female subject, you're going to have to put an E at the end of the past participle. And if you've got a plural subject, you're going to have to put an S on the end of your past participle. Of course, if it's a female and feminine and plural subject, you're going to need to add ES at the end of your past participle. So you're going to need to write those rules down and never forget that you need to make those changes with être when être is your auxiliary. If you've got any questions, please write down in the comments below. And of course, if you're one of my students, please reach out and ask in class. We're going to be doing plenty of work with le passé composé to make sure you can use it before we move on. Merci beaucoup and bonne journée. À bientôt.